body languages can be considered as uh, wrong kind of eye contact. So what you need to do is, if you see multiple people in the room with you, look at one individual first and concentrate on them for a few seconds, like 2 to 3 seconds, blink, and then move on to the next one. Blink, and then probably you can come back to the first individual, A, probably, right? So A B C D, that's how you can move around in the room. But then do not keep looking at someone's eye without blinking straight away in a row for maybe 3, 4 or 5 minutes, something like that, because that will definitely not leave a good impression and not a good sign. So that's something that I would really mention in the initial stage. You need to understand that there is a difference between eye contact and staring. All right, let's go to the next one, where I will give you tips on how you can make a good or effective eye contact. All right, so the first one, you use gestures, that means your hands, that should go along with your speaking or with your message that you're trying to explain. Your hands should not show something else, and your speaking should not go somewhere else. And that has to be done with your eye contact. Now, when we talk about eye contact, it is not something that is alone, that is established. It is established with your hand movements and your speaking as well. So all these three things has to be connected, and they go hand in hand. Okay, now the third point, when you're trying to look away slowly. Do not just dramatically look away all of a sudden to a different person or a different place altogether. Look away slowly, and again the 3-4 seconds rule, and then come back. Number 4, when you are having eye contact, the most important thing when we are speaking is also about listening. When you maintain eye contact, it should be 50% and 70% should be your listening. So this is a rule that you also need to maintain. That means you should understand what the person is trying to say and not just hear them. There is again a slight difference between hearing and listening. Okay, so when you are trying to when you understand the meaning behind those words, they will you will get a better clarity. Now, the next tip here, uh, don't look down when you're looking away. Don't do up and down, right? Try to maintain eye contact at the same place for the few seconds. Don't move around your eyeballs very frequently. That will not show good confidence. Next, rather than looking away or you're looking somewhere else, look at a specific spot on their face, or maybe just eyes is something that I would really recommend. But a few people also concentrate on their eyebrow, is what I've seen. So try to avoid the eyebrows, just keep it to the eyeballs, and that's it. Do not look around here and there. And the last tip I would give you is inculcate nodding when you are making eye contact. That means nod your head up and down, not left and right, up and down. And when you do this, that will make you look confident, and that's how you will be able to maintain effective and good eye contact. Over to you, Priyank.
Absolutely correct. Very well explained. And I also emphasize that just like there is a difference between hearing and listening as well as active listening, thin
Yeah.
line difference is there. Similarly, there is a thin line difference between your eye contact as well as your staring.
Yes.
Because if you maintain more eye contact, then people will feel uncomfortable. If you
Mm.
don't make eye contact, then it will clearly reflect that you have lack of confidence. So in both
Yes.
the situation, your game is over, and unfortunately, you don't get the call for the next round. So be
Yes.
very clear, and depending upon the gender, maintain appropriate eye contact and make sure it should reflect your confidence, just like your facial expression is. Great.
Yes.
So my next question is regarding the handshake. So when you are actually walking into the interview cabin, sometimes interviewer actually offer the handshake. Suppose
Mm-hmm.
let's imagine one situation that interviewer don't offer the handshake. Will
Mm-hmm.
the candidate has to offer the handshake from their own side? And same is applicable also while leaving for the room. What are the do's and don'ts you want to prefer here?
All right. Again, this will differ from situation to situation, And this will also differ from, I would say, the hierarchy and the levels that you are applying for, or the kind of position that you're applying for. So for example, when there are freshers, there are less chances that any interviewers would go and do handshake with them. But then when you're going for a higher role, then there are high chances, or there are chances that there could be some engagement through handshake. So again, it depends that where or how the whole room is also set up, and what is the kind of setup they have when they are sitting. So you cannot just go and bump into them directly and force them for a handshake if you feel that they are not very close to you, right? Some people would be appreciating that, but a few people will not find it that genuine or very welcoming when we go beyond that limit and we're trying to do a handshake with the recruiters. So I would also say, as you do a handshake, if you are doing a handshake, your handshake has to be very clean and crisp. And if you know how to do a handshake, then I would say keep it. But it is always good to greet them with a smile, with eye contact, and you can just tell them hi, hello, good evening, good morning. That is absolutely acceptable. But if you're not very clear with your handshake, I would not recommend you to go and do one, because a handshake is a direct way to understand you as to how you are as a human being. That means your grip matters. If you have a sweaty hand, that will not leave a good impression. So there are tons of things that you also need to consider before you're taking any step, or before you are going and doing anything with the recruiters, honestly. And number two, if they are engaging with you with a handshake, why not do it? But again, be very firm with your handshake. Keep it clean, keep it very crisp. That means do not keep shaking the hand up and down and over again. You do a 2 to 3 engagement, that means 2 to 3 strong strokes, and you're done. You leave the hand post that, right? So you should know good handshakes. And again, if you are not sure that, so there are some setups, right? When you enter the room, the interviewers are sitting on a table which is far away from where you will be sitting. So in that case, I would say just orally or virtually or verbally just telling them good morning, good evening, and just greeting them, that should be more than enough. But the first impression is shaking hand, which is typically one of the very first in-person interaction that you will experience with any of the interviewers, right? So uh, first of all, know the handshake. If you know how to do the handshake, good, go ahead. If you are not able to establish a connection through a handshake, then probably just do it verbally and leave the non-verbals aside.
Absolutely correct. Thank you so much, Sushna. And one more point I would like to highlight here is that understand the situation,
Yeah.
understand the seniority level of the person,
Yes.
understand the gender, and most important, the type of interview you are actually going to, you can say, happen in that room. This actually plays a major role. Accordingly, you can adopt the style for the handshake and make
Yeah.
sure the grip should be good, and don't hold the hand more than 4 seconds. This is the ideal duration.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you hold the other person hand more than 4 seconds, then it will showcase different personality.
Yes.
And when
Yes.
you are making the handshake, please maintain proper eye contact. Don't look at their hands.
Right.
Okay. Just like sometimes what happens, people are actually seeing what kind of you
Hands.
can
Hands.
say
Yeah.
smartwatch they have wear, what kind of dress
Yes.
they have actually wear. So don't get distracted about that.
Correct. 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 Can I
Please.
add something here, Priyank?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Right. So, just another point that I would like to mention. Like I said it in between, the handshake tells a lot about you, right? So,
Yeah,
the handshake is a very subtle way, or it expresses your personal characteristics and your traits. So,
yeah.
some of the qualities that a handshake can actually indicate to the interviewers is your confidence, your leadership, and how friendly you are, or what kind of person you are in terms of your friendliness. So, all of this can be understood right from your grip, the strength of your grip, how your firmness, and if you're maintaining an eye contact, like Priyank said, your body language, if you're leaning towards them, or if you're standing tall, if it's too tight or not, all of this matters when it comes to handshake. So hence, I would recommend, if you're not aware of the handshake and if you do not have a body posture that is giving a good indication, if you're not showing a leadership sign with the handshake, or if you're not showing very confidence handshake, then try to avoid it. But then, yeah, if you know what, if they will do it, then that's something you cannot avoid. You cannot do namaste if they're doing a handshake, right? Or you cannot bow. So my first point that I would say is learn it, and there's no harm in learning a good handshake any which way. So learn a good handshake so that you can leave a good impression, and they will also know what kind of personality you are.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much. So now, Totoshna, I would like to ask one last question from you, and that's
Sure.
a very important question is that everything happens with your own preparation. Okay.
Yes.
And whenever we are appearing for any job interview, your preparation also matters a lot.
Hmm.
Although communication, grooming, eye contact, handshakes are also key important element, but the most important is your preparation. If you're
Yeah.
not fully prepared, then these elements won't help. They
Yeah.
are actually complementing your preparation. Now,
Absolutely.
in order to prepare for the job interviews,
Hmm.
why someone should go through the job description carefully, and what are the important elements they should focus on the JD?
Wow, this is such a nice question, and I love addressing this. So, first things first, right? This is one mistake that I have seen people who are applying for job is they apply for all the job openings they see. It's like duck, 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 duck. Ah, आज 50 job apply कर दिया. Today I've applied for 50 jobs. Today I'm applying for 10 jobs. But do you really know that is that the kind of requirement that you need? That's number one. I'll tell you what will be the consequences if you are doing this. Now, the reasons why people do this, let's try to understand that, is number one, you're desperate for a job, right? You desperately need something. And always understand, when you're desperate for something, you might end up with the wrong decision because you're not thinking wisely. You just need it at that point of time. You want it, right? And you don't see the pros, the cons, the advantages, what would be the consequences, and everything altogether. You just avoid them. But what you do is you just start applying for jobs everywhere and anywhere you see or find vacancies. Now, what would be the consequence is you will not sustain in that job for a very long time. You will leave. Why? Because maybe that particular job description, or the responsibilities, or the KPI, it's not as per your choice, or it's not as per your traits. That means if the company wants someone to work in a hybrid model, and if you are the one who wants to work in a complete 100% work from home model, and then you would survive for a month or two, and then as soon as the company wants you to travel down to the organization or to the office every week, once in a while, or every twice a week, then you would start getting fed up because you have not seen initially what the company needs and what is their working model like. That was because you did not read the requirements, or you did not read the job description properly, and you just wanted to apply for jobs, and you just wanted to reach out to the organization saying that, okay, please give me a job. That would be one situation. And next is when you start uh, leaving companies very often, or if you start switching companies very much, then that again does not leave a good impression on your CV or your resume, because then the next company that you would go to, they would assume that you're not a person who would stick around for a very long time. And that is again a company does not want. They want employees who would stick around for a long time. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be a decade, anything. But they need someone so that they don't have to invest over and over again on recruitment, on training, and all those areas, right? So why is it important? It's because you should understand that, am i am I looking for this? Will I be comfortable for this? Is this the kind of environment I need? Is this the kind of organization I need? Will I be able to justify the requirements or the skills that they're looking for? Do I have those skills? So if the company is looking for someone who can work, as I said, on hybrid model, will I be okay with it? Will I be able to sustain with it? What are the other responsibilities I have? Am I looking to go ahead with this or not? Will this go with my lifestyle? Is this suiting my requirements? If you do not ask these questions to you, to yourself, when you are applying for a job, then people, you will end up in a wrong place. So be wise enough. And to do this, first of all, start with doing a SWOT analysis about yourself. Try to understand what you're good at, what your weaknesses are that you want to improve. uh, Understanding SWOT or your strength or weakness is important, because then only you'll be able to align it with the requirements or what you are more comfortable with. Again, let me give you a quick example here. For example, my strength is I love traveling. Now, if I get a job maybe in Goa somewhere, right? And they ask me to travel every week, I would love to do that. But then imagine I'm a person who does not like stepping out of the house. I like to just stay indoors. I like to be my myself. I like to work from home. And in that case, I have applied in this company. I've got a job. Now the company wants me to travel to Goa every week. Now answer this question to me. Do you think I will be happy doing that? The answer is no. Hence, you should be going through the job description well, and before doing that, know yourself better as to what you want. Then understand the organization, study the company's environment, the culture, what the company is offering. Are you good with the salary? What is the kind of, the employees that they have, how many days holidays they have, and everything, blah blah blah. And then apply for a job. Over to you,
Great.
Priyank.
Thank you so much for giving detailed answer, Tushna. And I must say you covered all the pointers very well in the today's webinar. Uh, so now it's time for the audience who are actually listening to you since last 44 minutes, and they are willing to ask the questions from you. So let me invite a couple of people one by one so that they
Sure.
can directly interact with you. So the first
Sure.
participant is Damini. You can unmute and ask your question. Damini, are you there?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Hello, Priyank, sir. Hello, Tushna, ma'am. Thank you
Hi,
so
Damini.
much for this wonderful session. So, my question is basically to build confidence. I tried my best, but something is wrong. I'm not able to properly, build up my confidence level.
Okay. What have you tried, if I may ask?
Yes, so SWOT analysis, I've done that. And I tell myself a good story about myself, that what I achieved in negative situations, but
Mm-hmm.
still it's not happening.
Okay. Are you a very social person, Damini?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you have to be. Okay.
Okay,
uh,
okay,
the reason of lot of people, they stay, I see, I don't believe in the term of introvert or extrovert. It's about maintaining the balance. So
okay.
it's about the exposure. You need to start doing a lot of things by yourself. Go out there, deal with things by yourself. But if you always have your parents or friends who are supporting you at doing things on your end, then you will never be able to build confidence. So go out there, deal with things on your own, deal with problems. You need to fail on certain things, and that's how you will be able to build some confidence, because that's when you will know that, okay, I have done this, and it was in a real life situation or real life scenario. But and also, you also have to keep that in mind, that you shouldn't be running away from the failures, or running away from if things go wrong. You need to face it, and you need to deal with it, and then you will see that how you build confidence. But go slow on it. Don't push yourself very hard, because again, as I said, it's a skill that you learn over the period of time, and not something you can do overnight. So give yourself some time, but all you need to do it is explore and go out there and start doing things on your own. I hope this helps, Damini.
Yes, yes, definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No
One,
problem.
one more question.
Sure.
I've checked multiple JDs. What if I have the skills, but I don't have the particular experience they require?
Mm-hmm.
So how can I explain that in an interview, that I can do my best job even if I don't have the experience required for the role?
Okay. So again, the skill sets should match the requirements. So
Hmm.
if they're looking for a freshers with the same skill sets, apply for a job in the same company, or the vacancies which are looking for freshers. But then if you go for a job interview where they are looking for experienced individual, even though if you have skill sets that they need, they will not prefer you, right? So do not look at the skills alone, look at the experience also that they're looking for. If that is aligned with zero experience of freshers, then I would say go ahead with it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. This helps. Thank you
No
so
problem.
much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for
No
giving me
problem.
chance to ask
Thank you.
questions.
No problem. All the best to you, Damini.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anshuman, you can unmute and ask your question now.
Yeah, thanks, Priyank. Tushna, first of all, friend, thank you very much for some fantastic tips. I was in and out from the session, but enjoyed it. My question is a little bit more around mid-career or slightly senior.
Sure.
Uh, while the questions are same sometimes, and you can't really plan for questions for mid-career, but
Hmm.
sometimes very awkward questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Tell me a little
Yeah.
more about yourself.
Yes.
You don't expect in mid and senior career, interviews. You
Yeah.
usually expect it in fresher or early career. So,
Yeah.
iska, what do you want to do? What would you suggest for mid career or slightly senior people if such questions still come?
Right. See, there could be some smart answers that I have encountered that a few clients have passed on to me.
Mhm.
That one of the client he mentioned, he is a deputy HR in Pune in one of the organization. So what he mentioned in his organization when he was going for an interview, he said that I do have some long term goals, but I love to work on the short term goals that helps me prepare for my long term goals. But definitely my long term goals is in no matter which company I am with, I just want to help contribute in the growth and success of the organization. So that's a very smart answer probably I found him giving, because he was not being very direct and clear with the answers that he gave.
Yeah.
And also not very not very uh, I would say not very less answered or not very less words as well. So he did a kind of justice to that particular, to that question. So that
Mhm.
is one of the ways. However, we see a lot of other approaches to the same question that we have. You can also say that, after 5 years, I see to be in a certain level. When you are in a mid level, then obviously you are looking to be in a level which is probably in a C-suite level, correct?
Mhm.
So you can say that, yes, I'm looking for a C-suite designation in your organization or an esteemed organization. Definitely you cannot say any other organization. So you can say in your organization, which will help me to take the company to the next level or to grow in your career and to learn from the C-suits or the existing C-suits. That's also something that you can mention.
Got
So the answers would vary, but then you will always have to be careful of what you're answering. You can relate it to your short-term goals, but being in a mid-level, your answers will be very much understood and your answers will be rectified, because everyone knows that you're looking for something higher or you're aiming for higher, right? For freshers it's a little tricky because they don't come with any 5 years plan, you know what I mean?
it.
But
Yeah, yeah,
for mid levels we all definitely have a 5 years plan. Or you can say that, I want to lead the organization, or I would want to be in the leadership role where I can help the organization with multiple aspects to take them to new heights, but it has to be aligned with the company's success and growth.
very good. Thank Tushna. I think some of these things we know, but when you construct a response and put it together, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Ask a question.
Good evening, Priya. Thank you for your participation. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yeah.
So I've got two questions. But about the interview, but you can or we haven't heard about it, was how to land an interview, what to like the interview itself. So enough with your resume, with your cover letter, in the pre-stage, usually the interview. The first question.
All right, first of all, leaving. If I have the question right, you're trying to answer first step on how we can more eligible area call for the interview in terms of the CV and cover letter, correct?
Yes, ask how to present yourself in the beginning when you're applying to the interview, and you will get this to speak to the direct person.
Introduction that you leave on is right. So I recently reel, which is there on YouTube and on my LinkedIn as well. So you can follow my you tips how you can make your CV and your letters more true and attractive. So one way is go to Harvard University's website. Okay, have a lot of samples with their cover letter samples and resume samples, and you can pick a good sample from there, because honestly speaking, our cover letter or the resume that we send, the all of content would be will we present it matters more. So template for yourself and fill in on the information which will help you to present your information in a very structured and better way, and that's how you'll be able to showcase your your information. First, research of the organization, and edit your CVs, resumes, and your whatever you're sending to the company according to every opportunity that you're applying. So if you apply to company A, company B, when you send the CV to company A, you make edits their requirements and send the necessary edits that's required in terms of their requirements, their way from the past, what they need from you, and whatever. So basically, customizing it for every opportunity is very important. This is another mistake that most of the individuals they do is they send the same CV to all the organizations, not customize it. And this is what you right when you bought the company with the requirements, you'll be able to edit and customize it better.
Thank you very much for your answer. I'll ask my second question.
Sure.
I just want to know how important is cover letters. Do the interviewers read it all?
No. If you're covered, and it depends on company to company. You just ask to information, but very seriously. So letters are important. That you to understand that of cover letter is there are more details about you. That's which is not there on your CV. That's the reason. That's the agenda why they need your letter, and they should that way. And what you through the team and what they should give you position which allow you the position. And this also allows the recruiters and the managers. You and if you're position not head through the cover, it is important. Yeah. But as I said, companies they just can really go through it. But if it's more you as an individual, how presentable you are and what you're speaking in front of them. Now, since we also have a lot of this era of startups, the interview letters has also changed slightly. But yes, cover letters are important, and how you present yourself in the offline interviews are equally important. I hope I answered your question, Lizzie.
Thank you. So, the third and the last question.
Sure.
How to deal with the interviewer in the terms of the part where you discuss the salary? Well, I will give it on an example. I have been asked the desired salary, and the part like they always ask how much you have been earning in your previous position, and I don't really want to answer that question. So how can I politely refuse to answer and get whatever they are offering to, not offending the interviewer?
Right. But then you do not want to discuss your salary, is what you mentioned, right?
Yes, the previous salary I do not want to disclose, and I'm just interested with the offer they are going to say. But like I have met this kind of situation where the interviewer got offended, and I said like, this is kind of a question I wouldn't like to answer, but I'm really ready to negotiate whatever the company is offering.
Okay. Well, I'm not very sure that how much of the acceptance would it be if you're not mentioning the previous salary, because that's how they define that how much they should be offering you now. And then this leaves a room for negotiation, which will help you to get a fair salary. But again, you might have your own reasons. I will not get into that for now.